What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Renegade Marquee on the Renegade Pop Culture Podcast Network. My name is Mike, and joining me, as always, is the Streamin Demon, Jacob.
Hey, folks.
And we've got returning to us, we've got Hayden.
Hello.
We've got Haylee.
Hello.
We've got Gwen.
Hi.
And making his Renegade Pop Culture debut, please welcome Matt.
Yo, happy to meet everyone.
Yeah, we're happy to have you here on this this very bizarre and very unbelievable film that James Wan just released this weekend called Malignant. Now, one of us here I know is a big James Wan fan. So, Gwen, why don't you describe Malignant for the audience?
Okay. Well, I'll try and keep this brief as I can, but to really describe it, like, I just have to put in a little something, because after Saw, right after his big feature debut with Saw, him and Lee Wanell made another movie in the studio system with Universal called Dead Silence. That movie, the screenplay was rushed for starters because it was the first for hire work that Lee Wanell did. And also, the studio did not really know what the movie was. They just gave them the money and let them make the movie. And James Wan and Lee Wanell wanted to make a movie that was very heavily inspired by Hammer horror films and Italian horror films. And they confused the hell out of the studio, and they had no idea what to do with it. It was reshot, re-edited, and we ended up just getting kind of like the first big jump for James Wan into his love of these types of films, these very campy, horror films that just are not serious at all. And his heart was kind of broken by that, and everything since then, he dabbled in it a little bit. He flirted with the camp. But this time around, he just completely lets it rip. He just goes all in. He doesn't give a shit anymore. He has all the clout in the world, making Conjuring films and Furious 7 and Aquaman. And now he just pretty much gets a blank check to make whatever movie he wants. And he basically does Dead Silence the way that he always wanted to do it. But it's still a very different movie from Dead Silence.
Awesome. So first of all, I should warn you guys, this podcast is going to be completely spoiler filled. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, come back to this review later, or if you had no intention to watch this, hear what we have to say, and if it sounds at all appealing, then go give it a shot, either in theaters or on HBO Max. So
but please watch it.
But yes, please watch it.
I don't know why you wouldn't want to, but it's okay.
So this movie obviously is directed by James Wan, from a screenplay by Akela Cooper. I don't know if I pronounced her name right.
That's right.
And based on an original story by Wan, Ingrid Bisu, and Cooper. So it stars Annabelle Wallis as Madison Lake Mitchell, a woman paralyzed by fear from shocking visions, whose torment worsens as she discovers her waking dreams are terrifying realities. And if that sounds like one of the laziest plot synopses ever, is because
it's intentionally vague.
Yeah, pretty much everything
goes places.
Whatever the trailer showed, you are not prepared.
No.
I gotta
Here's the thing, like my friend, one of my friends is like a really big Italian like giallo horror movie fan. Like he has dived deep into that genre. I'm pretty much a noob to it. Like I mostly know about that stuff through studying James Wan films. And I've seen like Blood and Black Lace, but that's pretty much it for me. And well, of course, Suspiria is another one I saw, but like there's so many of them that I haven't seen.
Yeah,
I've seen the
I'm kind
original.
of with you on that.
I have seen the original Suspiria. I really want to see the remake in which Tilda Swinton plays an old man.
No, Lutz Ebersdorf played the old man. What are you talking about?
But you know, like, because like my friend heard that this was going to be inspired by that, kind of like Edgar Wright's new film Last Night in Soho that's coming out, which he's really excited for. But the thing is he saw the trailers for Malignant and he's just like, oh, this isn't a giallo film, this is just another standard James Wan supernatural demon movie. There's not gonna, and I was like, it is not that movie at all, my friend. You need to watch this thing now.
And it's so not that movie from literally just like the first 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That opening was incredible.
Oh, absolutely.
And not only it sets such a great tone in terms of just the visuals, what you're kind of expecting from just all the swirling movements and the score. I mean, I love the score throughout the movie, but especially in the intro, it really just sinks you in. And I don't know about you guys, but I definitely went into the movie with pretty tempered expectations. Like you guys were saying, the trailers just weren't that great, but right from that opening scene, I'm like, all right, I'm in.
Haylee, I gotta ask, since you're kind of the not horror fan of the group, first of all, I gotta ask, what was it that finally inspired you to seek this one out?
So, yeah, I'm not a big horror person, and a huge part of that is just the idea of going to a movie theater and being assaulted with just really intense imagery while violins are shrieking over very loud speakers sounds like a night straight out of hell to me. And that's like what a lot of, and I don't want to generalize a whole genre because there are horror movies I like, but I feel like the more modern ones, even when I find one interesting and I go see it, it tends to kind of devolve into that. So it's just not a genre I generally go to. I find horror movies more anxiety inducing, and that's what they're supposed to do, but it's not something I enjoy doing. It's like I could set off my anxiety any number of ways that is more enjoyable than this. But one of the things was that I heard that this was not going to be I heard that this was not in the normal paranormal mode that a lot of horror movies have been in recently, that it was going to be a little more splattery, a little more pulpy, a little more like a 70s horror movie, which is the kind, like not like a Chopping Mall, because that movie's terrible, but like in those kinds of like straight to video nasty type things. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of into that. That sounds fun. And then someone told me the twist was killer. And I was like, well, at the very least, I want to know what the twist is. And holy shit. I really enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun with this. And I think part of it is, for a horror movie, it's a hell of an action movie for a horror movie. And I think that's part of what makes it really, I think that makes it a lot more accessible than, Saw 12 or whatnot. And I really liked the first Saw movie. That's one of the all-time greats, I think. And Wan is very good at ratcheting up tension without using the shorthands of the genre. So it's like the music in this is extremely impressive, like a really well done score. But he's really good at ratcheting up tension without making it unbearable and without it being kind of cliched. So I think that makes it that helps make it a really enjoyable ride. I also think this movie is very funny, like both intentionally and unintentionally. Like when that one scene where she's doing the laundry, you see that motherfucker Naruto run behind her, and he's going like, "Yeah!" I'm like, "Oh my god, did that just Naruto run behind her? Holy crap!" But yeah, no, I really enjoyed this, and I think like it's at its core, it's a solid horror movie. It's pulpy, it's silly, it's real. It feels realistic, just enough to let you suspend your disbelief. It's not so wacky that you're like, oh Jesus Christ, okay, this has never happened. And it's also not so realistic gory that you're just like feeling ill instead of horrified, which is another problem I have with a lot of horror movies. Although those medical scenes were pretty nasty.
Yeah, they can be.
That was the only part. Those are the only parts I was like, ugh, but it works because the rest of the violence is so Fist of the North Star, Akira, people just exploding in paint buckets of blood, you know.
Like I actually feel you with the medical scenes, because here's the thing with me, I could watch horror movies where people are butchered and it doesn't bother me, but if I'm seeing like a medical scene, like a surgery scene from like a medical show on ABC or some shit like that, like I actually get nauseous. That actually bugs me.
There's a level of reality to it that just, it's not plausible anymore. There's no plausible deniability anymore. Your brain's like, oh no, I'm watching a surgery. Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I kind of feel the same way. Like violence in action is like, yes, give me more. But specifically in this movie, the scene where they're actually performing the surgery and like lodging Gabriel back into her skull. That's like, ugh.
Oh god.
Yeah, it was. Oh.
Yeah, my skull has some teeth in it.
I wasn't even that bothered by Gabriel pulling out of her skull because it was very cool in an H.R. Geiger kind of sense. But them putting him back in, I was just like, oh god.
Personally, I think Gabriel is adorable.
Of course you do, Hayden.
Those little arms like going everywhere. It's
oh Gabriel, ooh, soft boy. Oh no, I will never do that again.
Here's the thing. I mean, I guess I should probably wait for that element, like whenever we get into describing a story. But I do have a story for whatever that twist hits, because me and my girlfriend watched it together. And she likes horror movies, but also she is very I'm trying to like, she's very squeamish about some things. So like whatever she saw that scene, she just freaked the fuck out.
And I don't blame her.
Honestly, the movie in a lot of ways, I mean, it has those kind of 70s and 80s kind of inspirations, but it's like, what if those movies were made with an actual budget? Because, you know, Warner Brothers, they did kind of give James Wan the blank check. They were like, wow, you actually made a good Aquaman movie. No one thought that was possible. So do whatever you want with this. And he just went for it. I mean, in every way. And I love how wild just the imagery gets. He pushes boundaries in ways that, I mean, it's always done in a playful way and not like, you know, a gross and kind of too realistic way. It's always played in this kind of form of camp, but I just thought it was really inventive. Like he'd always one up himself somehow.
Yeah, like that's something that I think is really impressive about James Wan too. He never gets complacent. He's always pushing to take his craft farther. Like I've never seen him go backwards So that's one big positive I can always give to him.
Yeah, even in like his studio films, like the Conjuring movies, and I think Insidious Chapter 2 was the first time that I really noticed, oh, okay, there's more to him than just jump scares and trauma. He likes to have a little bit of fun, because
Yeah.
Insidious Chapter 2 is
Very
basically
campy.
it's basically the horror equivalent of Back to the Future Part 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it's actually kind of cool to hear someone else say something like positive about that movie, because I remember when I first saw Insidious Chapter 2 and I came out of it really liking it, and everyone else was like, it was a movie.
I've only seen the first Insidious one, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, you got to check out Chapter 2. I don't want to say it's my favorite of the Insidious franchise, but considering how much I love Back to the Future, I just have a soft spot for it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting with how they use the further in new ways.
With
I
no
take it-
context for that franchise, that was a hell of a sentence. I've never seen an Insidious movie and being like, well, Back to the Future, you know. Okay, I'm gonna go watch that now.
Going from that to like, and The Conjuring, that wasn't very playful though, was it? That was more of a straightforward drama, wouldn't you say, Gwen?
The first one takes itself a
kinda?
little bit more.
Yeah, but there wasn't as much tongue-in-cheekness in that one.
I mean, there is oh shit, I don't know what's wrong with my internet here. 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. But like, I think like there is comedy in the first Conjuring film, like kind of tongue-in-cheek comedy, like the part whenever Ed Warren picks up that giant camera and is like, it's so light. Like just making a jab at how old cameras are just these massive things. But I'm gonna let you guys continue talking for a little bit. I will be right back. I have to feed my dog before she
One thing I'll say about like all of James Wan's horror movies is they seem to kind of embrace like a different kind of aesthetic. Like the Saw movies are very much in like kind of the grotesque. This movie is more in like the kind of campy Jaleo, like slasher kind of in that mold. And then the Conjuring movies are in the haunted house kind of sphere. So like he's shown he can do every kind of quadrant of horror, which most directors they have their style in horror, but they kind of stick to that through a lot of movies.
And I think at the same time, he implements his own style in all these different types in a way that's really unique, and you can definitely see his fingerprints all over. And I think it's really fascinating to see from him.
I thought it was cool. He said that he like even as he directs movies like Aquaman, Fast and Furious, he's like, you can never. He said this in an interview. You can never take the horror fan out of me. Like those influences are like kind of ever present in his movies, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, even Aquaman kind of has that tongue-in-cheek horror because it has this giant Leviathan monster voiced by freaking Julie Andrews.
Yep.
Yeah, Mary Poppins voices like Cthulhu.
Yeah, like Matt said, there's a little bit of horror in all of his movies. In Furious 7, he pretty much frames Jason Statham as like a slasher villain when he's first introduced. And it's kind of funny how he goes from a Furious 7 to Aquaman to Malignant, which does kind of become an action film towards the third act of the film, which we'll get to in a little bit. For now, though, I just want to talk about some of the performances. What did you guys think of Annabelle Wallace as our main protagonist.
She was great.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the acting in the movie is very, campy and kind of over delivered, but I thought she was actually probably kind of the sturdy kind of dramatic center that the movie needed. I mean, the movie doesn't take its story necessarily super seriously, but it's good to have kind of a foundation of emotional stakes to kind of invest the audience. So I hadn't been a big fan of her in other movies. I remember she was in the Mummy movie with Tom Cruise, which just all around didn't work, but I thought she was really good here.
I don't necessarily blame her for that movie. Just kind of the movie itself was lackluster.
That's definitely
Rest
true.
in peace, Dark Universe. We miss you.
Yeah, I think the thing that keeps me from thinking this movie is great as opposed to good is the acting, but it's not on Annabelle Wallace's part. I think that role's very hard to do, and the kind of tone that this movie is conveying is hard to nail, and she does a very good job with it because she's got to be realistically troubled, but not plate smashingly hysterical, but also but not being so frightening that we're constantly we need to be worried for her, but not truly unnerved or concerned by her because she's our central character. We want to root for her even though we're kind of sensing that maybe she killed a bunch of people. So she does a good job with that.
And I felt really genuinely for her character, which I thought was, and I started out the movie thinking oh, this is so silly, but at the end I kind of realized, oh, I actually do really want this character to succeed. And I was really kind of taken aback by that, but a lot of that does have to do with her performance. And
did anyone else get kind of Invisible Man vibes from this movie, the recent one?
A little bit.
It's not the third act. I kind of got that.
Yeah, where she's framed for committing a murder in that one.
And then the whole climax is set in a police station. I mean, the Invisible Man was a prison, but just kind of similar environments. But I can kind of see what you're saying.
What's funny is a couple days ago, I sent out a tweet saying, Lee Wanell after watching Malignant, and it's just a GIF that says "challenge accepted," because I really was thinking of Upgrade and that one shootout scene in The Invisible Man, and how he would have handled this really well choreographed action scene from the performer who did Gabriel. Her name is Marina Mazepa. She's a contortionist who I don't think I've ever seen a contortionist do the kind of things that she pulls off in that scene.
The way she moved to it kind of reminded me of this a Matrix fight scene, but with a Ray Harryhausen character.
Yeah, that's
the way she moved. It was just so unnatural. It actually did give me Jason the Argonauts vibes.
And there was this parkour thing that Gabriel was doing, and I was just for it.
Yeah, I have to say, we were talking about how Juan basically got a budget and ran wild with it, but the use of a lot of practical effect for Gabriel specifically works really well for this. It looks real in a way that is upsetting, and I don't think CG could have pulled that off.
No, not at all.
I think that's kind of one of the traits of that. If you're an aspiring horror director in the 2010s, you or 2020s, you have to use practical effects now. You cannot be it seems like you cannot be a horror fan who makes horror movies now and use CGI most of the time.
I'm sure there was a little bit of CGI used, but you can definitely tell that most of it was practical.
I'm assuming the transition scenes were where you see the little the transitions from the kind of the dreamlike scenes to where the main character was witnessing the murders, where you see the wallpaper and stuff kind of disintegrate around. I'm assuming that was a little at least a little CGI, but it looks really visually interesting enough that it doesn't really distract.
Yeah.
I think the best directors find a way of kind of marrying the two sensibilities. Like you have the practical effects and designs, and then you kind of pepper in effects just kind of to render the image and make it pop a little more. So I think that shows kind of Wan's skill set, is that he's able to kind of blend both, styles.
It uses CGI when using practical effects would just been impossible.
Oh yeah. Gwen, what do you think of the transition scenes when Maddie is going into these visions of all the murders?
Oh, that's actually very impressive use of visual effects, I feel, because I don't exactly know how he did it, because the visual effect transitions to another practical set, but the actor is in the same exact position. She hasn't changed at all. So I don't really know how exactly he pulled off. But the thing with James Wan is he's always been very clever about that. He's only used CGI and stuff when it's absolutely necessary, and he keeps everything else practical. And he always works on sets, he very rarely works in on location. He usually works in studio sets and everything, because that's the only way he can get the camera movements he wants, because he uses spider cams a lot.
Right.
So I imagine that's what he did. He had two separate sets, or maybe it was the same set redesigned to look like a different set, and they had the spider cam just going around her, so that they could have I assume kind of the seamless effect where they could just mask her and get the I don't really know exactly how they did it. I'm still learning this stuff myself, but it's very impressive work how he pulled that off. I feel it's very trippy. It's I don't really know how to describe it beyond that, but it's a very psychedelic type of transition that I haven't really seen before. So
it reminds me a little of the terrible Nightmare on Elm Street remake in some ways, but actually used well.
You know what? I'm going to say this right now. If they were to remake Nightmare on Elm Street again, you have your director.
Yeah. Of all the horror movies I've seen this year, I think this is the one that I'd need to see a behind the scenes documentary of how they pulled all this stuff off.
Oh, I was
fascinating.
They have some featurettes for that on HBO Max.
Oh, there is.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
For each movie, they put out they have little bonus features for each of the same day, same releases sort of thing that they're doing for all of 2021.
That's so smart.
Yeah. I was telling Jenny, I was if they do not have a commentary, a director's commentary on this Blu-ray, they have failed.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
We were talking about performances earlier. I just want to bring up that, is McKenna Grace ever going to be out of a job where she plays a younger version of the protagonist?
Nope. that will be on her resume forever.
How old is she?
She's got to be in her teens now.
Okay.
She is 15.
I feel like she's been around a lot longer than that, but that's yeah, I agree.
Like how
She began acting professionally at the age of 6.
Jesus.
And I think one of her first roles was on a Disney XD sitcom called Crash and Bernstein.
like I know she played the young
Okay,
version of Sabrina.
I thought that show was a lot older than it was.
Huh.
She's been young Sabrina Spellman, young Emma Swan on Once Upon a Time, young Tanya Harding, young Theodora Kane on The Haunting of Hill House, young Carol Danvers in Captain Marvel, and now this.
And also young Daphne and Scoob.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my god. It's almost like they cast her for that exclusively as a meme.
Yeah. It's
I
like
wouldn't put it
John
past
Bean
them because
always
that movie
dying.
basically was meme central. So
McKenna's not available. The whole movie's canceled now.
I love how on Wikipedia, like one of the paragraphs starts with Grace's career has mostly consisted of portraying the young version of older characters.
well,
If it ain't broke, don't fix
icon
it.
status.
But honestly, I think a lot of these performances, I was a big fan of a lot of these performances. One in particular that I was kind of surprised just to see her on screen again was Susanna Thompson, who played the mother.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she was really great.
Is she?
And yes, if you don't know who she is, that was Moira Queen on Arrow. And this is the first time I've seen her on screen in like maybe just under a decade. Because I don't know what else she's been in outside of Arrow. So it was just a nice surprise to see her again.
And also, I don't think we could go without mentioning Marina, I believe her name is Mazeppa. She is the one that did the physical performance for Gabriel because she is a contortionist dancer.
Yep.
And boy, the stuff that she does in this movie is really fascinating.
Yeah, she's far and away the standout. The only thing I want to say is that about this movie that I would say is slightly negative is that everybody playing a cop or a cop adjacent in this movie was horrible. Like just on an acting level, like I get there's a level of camp to this movie, but they were so bad that I truly thought the twist was going to be that this whole universe was a CSI type show and Annabelle Wallace was hallucinating the murders they were acting out. That was not the case, and probably for the better. That would have been a terrible twist. But yeah, I was definitely, every time I went to the cops and they were quipping at each other, I was like, please
But, like,
God, just take us back to what we wanted.
I've always felt that was intentional because even all the way back at Saw, the detectives in that movie are just like, they're CSI characters. Like they always have been. It has to be entirely intentional on his part that cops in his movies always act like that.
So that's been a James Wan staple for basically his entire career.
Yes. Like even the detective that's questioning Rose Byrne in Insidious Chapter 2, exactly the same way.
And I mean, that's fair. I'm not as familiar with Juan, but going into it blind, I was just like, oh my God, I don't want to deal with these people anymore. Like, especially the lockup girl with the crush on the other guy. It's just like, I do not care about you. Why does the narrative think I'm supposed to care about you? I've only known you for 5 seconds. I was just like, I was very much like ready to move on from that.
Wow, that is actually like me and Jenny, whenever we got to that one scene with her, like she was barely in the movie, and then whenever it gets to the one scene where she could actually be in danger, like both of us were holding our breath, like we barely know this woman, but we don't want her to die. She seems nice.
I mean, I will be fair. I didn't want her to die for sure. That scene was very tense and well done. I just thought she was annoying.
Yeah.
I get where you both are coming from because I'm probably with you, Gwen, because I think like it kind of leans into that campy like corny buddy cop kind of nature where they almost like one of the detectives, it feels like they almost always talk in like quips and just have like these silly jokes. I forget what was the reference. One of them they did the police sketch, and one of them said it looked like someone from the Goonies. I think.
From the Goonies.
Yeah, I actually laughed at that
in my theater.
That
I got
was
the biggest
funny, yeah.
laugh in my theater, for the record.
I think I did too. I was dying at that. So I thought it was like that. Was the performances from like a traditional standpoint great? Like probably not, but I think Wan utilized kind of campiness and like over serious delivery in like kind of a smart way.
Yeah, like and also I'm gonna say another thing about Gabriel. I actually think that it's time to cut out the cancer. I think that line may end up being as iconic as I want to play a game. I really think it will end up being that.
That dramatic zoom.
Yeah.
As she says that is amazing.
I hope that becomes a meme when like dealing with either, you know, some toxic fanboy on Twitter or just like applied to anything. I just want to see it's time to cut out the cancer spread. Like
I will say
wildfire.
that Zoe Bell's reaction to in the prison sequence, that's already definitely catching on as a bit of a meme. So
Yeah,
there's hope for basically everything in this movie, I think.
and also to get back to the slow zoom thing, I've gone on rants about this on Twitter basically, but that's also a James Wan staple, and is in all of his movies. He always, for dramatic scenes, especially if it's like a shot reverse shot, which is something I usually like. I know it's standard practice in a lot of filmmaking and stuff, but the shot reverse shot, if not done well, is honestly exhausting for me to look at. But James Wan always, in dramatic scenes, he'll just slowly zoom in on the actor, and like it'll continue doing that as the scene cuts back and forth. Like the camera will slowly zoom in on the actors continuously. It never stops. So until it, you know, hits like a moment, like it's time to cut out the cancer, and like it stops for that moment, because again, he loves to just get into really corny deliveries like that. And I was really amazed to read some reviews for this movie, just like, oh, this movie is just so bad. But I'm like, that's he's literally intending for this kind of delivery. It's actually pretty good.
Look, if you don't understand what the movie is going for the second Dr. Weaver says, "You've been a bad, bad boy, Gabriel."
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know that the movie is in on the joke, then you are a lost cause. I am sorry.
I forgot that. Like, that was hilarious, that line.
Hell, before that, like I think the very first scene after the New Line logo is a shot of the is that the Simeon Hospital Tower?
I think so. Yeah, it's like right on the edge of a cliff.
Yeah, like
why would you have a children's hospital on the edge of a cliff?
Also, can we talk about the parking job that the sister does at the edge of the cliff? Because that was amazing.
Also, the staircase is on the edge of the cliff. But
I love
like
it.
I was dying over the fact that there's just a pile of chairs in like the front lawn. You know, nothing ominous here, just a pile of goddamn chairs, you know, like normal people do in front of their children's hospital on a cliff.
God, the production
for
of this movie is ridiculous.
And it's always ridiculous, a James Wan movie. Like, I mean, his repetitive use of fog and haze to the point of absurdity, like that has actually been a thing since like Dead Silence, is just that endless sea of fog and haze. And none of the characters ever question it. Like, it's just part of the world.
I'm trying to think what else stands out from just like the production design, because
The wigs,
oh my god, the wigs.
amazing.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the wigs in the prison?
All of them.
The woman with the mullet? What the fuck?
Zoe Bell, just yes.
Wow.
A lot of the to distract from the wigs, I'm sorry. A lot of the camera work in this is really like super gorgeous. Like the scene where
Oh.
she's basically running through the house Clue style to try and lock every door is so like involving just because of the way it's shot.
And
I feel like this movie has a lot of verve that a lot
Or
of
other ones
horror
when she
movies I've seen
disappears from
don't.
one side of the house only to reappear on the next.
yeah, like that
Oh,
that
yeah.
is that's another thing I have to give this movie is like I feel this is like, I mean, it is James Wan style of, you know, camera work. It has been since Insidious, because I believe he has been working with the same cinematographer since that movie. But like that has been his visual style, is like follow like a camera following through everything. But I feel this is the best use of it, especially in that scene that you described, because like it's clear that they just had a set where they cut out the roof and just followed her through the entire scene. But and like another scene where the camera work is fucking insane is like the police precinct scene in the final act, which
Yeah.
oh
So
my
the
God.
name of this cinematographer is Michael Burgess,
Mhm.
and he's worked on at least everything from The Conjuring 2. Well, he's done camera work for The Conjuring 2, Aquaman, The Nun, The Curse of La Llorona, and as a cinematographer, he worked on Malignant, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and Annabelle Comes Home. So
that actually explains why Annabelle Comes Home actually does look more like James Wan movies than other Conjuring movies.
yeah, this is clearly someone who Wan likes to collaborate with quite frequently.
Mhm.
The use of lighting was really fantastic in the movie too. I mean, when you had the scene with one of her doctors and there was the sign outside his window and just the red kind of bleeding into the room, like there was a lot of great just little lighting tricks here and there that I think really set the mood effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. But God, I don't remember which one of you said in the conversation that it's like the most action horror movie. Which one of you said that? I feel
I think that might have been me. Yeah.
okay, yeah, you're right, because like there's like an extended chase sequence in the movie, like halfway through the movie, which kind of shocked, like it kind of gave me flashbacks to Saw a little bit whenever they Donald Glover and his partner end up finding John Kramer and are like chasing him down in his labyrinth, and and I was like, no, dude, stop chasing Gabriel. He's gonna kill you. Stop chasing him. You're gonna get freaking shotguns in the face, and it's not good. I was having basically PTSD from Saw. I was like, stop following him. But thankfully he made it through. But it was just like, oh God, he's gonna die. But God, like Gabriel's just like jumping around walls like Spider-Man. He knows kung fu. Like, how?
By the way, I forgot to mention this earlier, but they hired a really great voice actor to play to do the voice for Gabriel.
Yeah. Who does do that? I've been trying to figure out who did that. I couldn't.
It's Ray Chase, and I think most people will know that name as the voice of Gendo from the Netflix dub of Neon Genesis Evangelion. But he's very prominent in like anime dubs, and he's done voices for some of the DC films. Like he was in he was Etrigan the Demon in Justice League Dark.
That's what I heard him from. I knew I recognized that voice, but I just couldn't pinpoint it.
Yeah, so
He's
to
been
hear
in a lot.
a lot of anime.
Mm-hmm.
So to hear him show up in this movie is nothing short of incredible.
Yeah, I think the voice acting and also the physical performance, and I think really the writing, and the Gabriel has this very kind of dry, like sardonic wit in a lot of situations that's often very unnerving, but also kind of funny in its own cheeky way. So like I think all of those assets coming together, it creates like a really memorable horror villain. Like people who have liked the movie have talked about Gabriel a lot, and I feel like horror movies now don't have that kind of that memorable it character. I mean, like in the classics, like Freddy and Michael Myers and all of that. But I think was like kind of a close kind of iteration of that in a way.
Yeah, like I like a lot of I feel like maybe Ghostface might have been the last truly iconic horror villain in that way. I mean, I guess Jigsaw.
Yeah, that's a
too,
good one.
Like because mostly just because Tobin Bell is just so freaking chilling. Like, I mean, he seems like the nicest guy, but man, his voice is very intimidating.
I actually met Tobin Bell at Grand Rapids Comic Con.
Oh, awesome!
I attended a Q&A of his. He seemed like such a sweet guy.
Yeah,
very chill.
That's really cool. Like, and I imagine he is. Like every interview I've heard of his, like he seems like a very sweet, very humble guy, but his voice is just, I can't not associate it with John Kramer. So it's very hard for me to think of his voice in any other way than that.
He just recently starred. I remember seeing a trailer for like this Christian movie that he was just in called A Father's Legacy.
Oh no.
Yeah, like
oh no.
Yeah, Jigsaw finds Jesus.
I think he
pay
just
for that movie.
I think he just
Maybe there's a
basically-
twist.
I think he basically takes a lot of like movies that just in general, like any actor in the industry. So I'm not gonna read like anything into it specifically. He seems like
I rarely read into that with a lot of Christian movies, because I've heard even in Christian like Christian music, a lot of the people who do Christian music aren't actually Christian. They just do it because it's profitable.
Yeah, apparently the Christian music scene is very, very lucrative.
Yeah. I don't know how we got on this tangent, but okay.
There is notably no Christian music in this movie.
There might be. There might be.
Depending on how you look at the Pixies, maybe.
Yeah.
That was a joke. That was definitely a joke. I don't.
Although speaking of the music, I do kind of have to ask which which use of pop music into the score do you think worked better, this or I Got Five on It from Jordan Peele's Us? Because I think both kind of have like that same sort of energy.
Here's the thing, the Where's My Mind one in this movie, I feel is just James Wan being really cheeky with the audience, just like, let's see if you can guess the twist of this movie just by this little cue here, which it went right over my head, honestly. Because I wasn't paying attention to that. I was just too invested in the story. But I feel like I've Got Five on It and Us was just more chilling, just in the execute. Like, I mean, Us is also a very campy movie, but it's just inherently more chilling with Lupita Nyong'o's performance to go with that track.
I'm gonna be honest. The difference is I didn't really know. I wasn't as familiar with I Got Five on It before Us came out, because I have my blind spots and but like Where Is My Mind, I recognized and I was like, is that Where Is My Mind? And then I just went and I waited after the credits specifically just to see
just to confirm
credited, and it was, and I was like, okay, I was right.
Yeah.
I feel proud of myself.
Yeah, and also I'm just gonna say this right now. This is actually the first time since Fight Club that this kind of twist has worked for me. And it's specifically because of how James Wan took it and went about it in such a fresh and unique way that is honestly so deranged that I'm honestly shocked he even got away with it.
I think the reason why this works is kind of what we talked about earlier. The movie as a whole is pretty definitively camp, but he takes certain characters seriously. Like,
always.
Like you need that one emotional anchor, and that's exactly who Maddie is.
Maddie in the relationship with her sister specifically, that's the whole emotional anchor of the movie.
Yep. I read an interview where Juan describes this as the horror version of Frozen, and now I can't uncompare it anymore. Like
and it's actually better than Frozen in my opinion.
I'm with you there.
Mm-hmm. So is Gabriel Olaf?
Yes, Gabriel's Olaf.
I mean, he is Elsa's imaginary friend made real.
But does he like warm hugs?
Yes, he does.
It seemed like he wanted a warm hug from his mom at first until he decided, oh, I'm just gonna suffocate you with a pillow. But like that was actually one thing at that ending that actually surprised me, is like he kind of hesitated whenever she asked for forgiveness. Like he just stopped and was like, do I really want to kill her? And it kind of made me think like Gabriel's almost just like this sad little boy that feels rejected, because then it actually reminded me at the beginning of the movie where the surgeon is like, he wants to go home.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, oh shit, like James Wan actually is giving Gabriel this sadistic, murderous psychopath that just is absolutely relentless. He actually gives him his own emotional center where he's just like this sad kid who was left behind by his mother and just lets that resentment eat him up and just turn him into this monster. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I
Since
think.
we're-
Oh, you go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I agree with your point a lot, Gwen, because I think part of what makes like kind of a lot of great villains a villain is like there's this outward menace to them, but then there's like an insecurity at their center, or just kind of in this case it was, of the character, it was very much their kind of youth and just kind of the being disconnected and kind of the heartbreak of the character. So I think it's good to have that kind of like balancing factors.
Mm-hmm. And like I've kind of briefly mentioned on Twitter, like this is like Gabriel is really ultimately a metaphor for Madison's repressed trauma from her childhood. So you could say like it's really her, like in a more metaphorical sense, it's really her acting out, you know, due to the trauma of her biological mother just giving her up. Like I feel like and also feeling abused by the doctors that like took care of her in a way.
Yeah, because what wasn't she like she was like 8 when she was adopted.
Mm-hmm.
I think 9.
I believe she was 8. It could have been 9. Either or. I mean, it's pretty close.
But like that's, you know, that's like just old enough to be, you know, like conscious of your surroundings, but still young enough that like you're, you know, without like a parent or guardian figure. So yeah, I can understand a lot of where that trauma is built from.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the repressed trauma comes out whenever her husband just bashes her skull open. So it's
Yeah.
Yeah, with an ass hat.
What I was gonna say earlier was, since we keep dancing around it, maybe we should just out and say what the twist is at this point, because we're really getting into it.
Okay. Basically, like Gabriel was a parasitic twin of Madison's back then, Emily, whenever she was born. So basically, it's almost like almost kind of like a Siamese twin situation, but it's more so a sentient tumor that is fused to her spine and brain. And that's where the title of the movie comes, Malignant, which translates to cancerous. It was staring us right in the face the whole time. But anyway, the surgeons try, because Gabriel seems like the more dominant of the two, so they're trying to work with that consciousness and try and develop it more, but then they realize that he is malicious. He is way too powerful. He can drink electricity and is just trying to kill everyone to get back home to his mother. And they end up deciding like, okay, we're just going to have to cut him out. And so they cut out as much as Gabriel as they possibly can. But they have to leave parts of him that are fused to Madison's brain, which would be his teeth and eyes, and they end up sealing him inside of her skull. Well, years later, her abusive husband that she has had many miscarriages with, and he, of course, like an asshole, blames her for it. He ends up throwing her head up against a wall and cracks her skull open and waking up Gabriel and starting this entire murder spree. And then whenever the cops think that she has been the one committing all these murders and she is left alone with a bunch of basically 70s stereotypes,
Basically.
Gabriel comes out in the most gruesome way by his face protruding from the back of her skull, which also explains why Gabriel's head is in exactly the opposite direction of his body.
Yeah, that
Right
makes
there.
a lot of sense.
Like, that was something throughout the entire movie. I was like, why are his body and head so mismatched? That was something, like, I noted, like with the hands, they managed to trick you a bit, but if you pay attention to his feet, that's where it really gives it away. It's like, why are his feet backwards? And then whenever that twist hits, I was like, oh, of course, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, basically what he's been doing this entire time is getting revenge against all of the people that took him away from Madison, or as he always knew her, Emily. Basically anyone that took him away from his sister. So there's another little emotional curveball with that character, because he's very manipulative of her, but he also relies on her. So it's just interesting.
Yeah, there's a very sadistic codependency.
Mm-hmm.
And like you mentioned, Gwen, like Wan, he's a great kind of showman in this way. He presents what the twist is going to be in so many obvious ways, like you mentioned with the song. I mean, the title of the movie, the opening of the movie, but he finds a way to constantly like kind of distract audiences from the obvious and really sink into the narrative. And yeah, I love the reveal of it. I mean, I think it came in at the perfect time, and that's like right when we kind of kicks into gear and just goes pedal to the metal. So I think he really played the whole twist like perfectly.
Yeah, and like the thing is whenever she was arrested and put in prison because like their mother is strapped in her attic and just falls through, like,
Oh my god, that was, my jaw dropped. I was like, well, whatever I expected, it was not that.
well, and then I was just like, oh no, I know Juan is better than this. He's not gonna do the lazy Fight Club twist, is he? Like, it wasn't lazy in Fight Club. I love it in Fight Club, but every freaking movie after it that has tried to bank on that twist, it is the most cliche twist in the entire book. It's a cop out every single time, and I was like, please no, please do not do that. Please do not do that twist. And he kind of did. But the way he did it is just so shocking and just weird that I couldn't help but love it this time, and it was actually smart.
I loved how it kind of combined that twist with something like Basket Case.
Yes.
To the point where, like, the second I saw that twist, I'm like, oh my god, Basket Case, yes. Yes, that's what we're doing here.
So now I know I need to watch Basket Case next.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I will give this is there's a lot of fraught things that can come with a horror movie where the plot twist is they were the killer the whole time. And I think a lot of movies like that haven't aged well, because it ends up kind of, demonizing people who aren't neurotypical in specific ways. And I think the way this twist is executed is so ludicrously over the top
that
and
you just can't,
like so well
you
that
can't
it's
associate it with real things at all.
No, you can't. Like, how, I don't know. For me, having an alien stuck to my back that makes me kill people and contorts my body in weird ways is not Tuesday. That's not something that happens to me often. But it's
happened to my buddy Eric.
You know, it happens more and more these days. It's a real shame.
The only sorry, go ahead. Keep going.
Oh no, yeah. I was just gonna say, like, I appreciate, because I was sitting there also dreading oh, is it her the whole time? How is it her the whole time? What horrible thing happened to her to make her do this? What pop psychology thing is gonna get twisted to the point of ludicrousness? But no, I don't think you could mistake, and you couldn't really, it wasn't, the twist was really shocking, but also really enjoyable, because then you're like, oh shit, this is some wild stuff. Like, you're not sitting there going, you know, sometimes I feel like that. Am I gonna start killing people too? Like, that kind of feeling.
Yeah, like and also there is one thing that's very interesting, is like, because Gabriel, like, is so clearly alien in design, like before, like, he's reduced to just an eyeball and teeth. But like, again, like, he's very alien looking, and of course he drinks electricity and all that stuff. He has powers like he's freaking Neo from the Matrix. But and we know how him and Madison were conceived. It's said straight up, you know, in the interview with their mother, whenever she gives them up, that she was assaulted. And her Christian mother disapproved of the pregnancy, of course. But there was one person on my Twitter mentions, it was like, if James Wan did a sequel, I'm very curious to know what the dad is. Because
I was gonna ask that next. Like, where do you go with a sequel to this? Because after I saw this movie, I didn't necessarily want. I obviously want more movies like this that take like
absolutely,
that big swing.
Way more. I want big swing horror movies like this and Us. I want way more of that shit.
But like, I don't want Hollywood to get. I don't want the studio to get the wrong idea of like, oh, Gabriel is the next Jason, so let's do more of these.
Yeah, that's the thing that worries me whenever some people are like, Malignant 2 when, I'm like, oh god, please no, please do not turn him the next Michael Myers, please. I don't want that. And then whenever you start thinking about it, it's like, there's a lot of stuff here that is completely unexplained that you could actually legitimately make a great sequel if you knew how to construct it narratively. And also another thing that would just be interesting is how James Wan has the detectives and the courts legally explain this absurdity.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I will accept a sequel to this that is a courtroom drama of Annabelle Wallace's character trying to clear her name while explaining this absolute insanity that has been foisted on her body.
That was kind of my problem with Conjuring 3, is that it presented that idea, but it didn't really go with it.
Yeah, if Malignant 2 is, they can even just call it the people versus Malignant, or Malignant 2, the people versus Gabriel. Just something completely ridiculous.
Law and Order Special Malignant Unit.
How do we get a jury of Gabriel's peers?
I think that's going to be a pretty biased jury. Because who's going to side with the alien teeth and eye in a woman's brain?
Seems like a job for unfrozen caveman lawyer, personally.
A part of me, I do want to say, is happy, not happy, but relieved that it isn't doing amazingly at the box office with so far I think I saw 15 million like project weekend, or
even less than that.
yeah, like 5 million.
Yeah, but also, like, here's the thing. I don't think this movie would get as much attention on Twitter as it did had it not been on HBO Max, because no one knew this movie was coming out until 2 months ago. I was like one of the only people that was like, hey, there's a new James Wan movie coming out. And everyone on my Twitter was like, wait, what?
I knew about this movie as well, but that's because I'm a nerd who pays attention to like press junkets and interviews. Like James Wan has been talking about this movie ever since he did press for Annabelle Comes Home.
Yeah,
I
and
became
I
aware
just
of it
looked
when-
up what the budget. I looked up what the budget of this movie is. It's $40 million budget.
Yeah, that's not nothing, but
No,
it's also it's
bigger
like-
than you'd expect for most horror films today, but
Exactly.
it is
Just-
much lower than Aquaman.
Quick clarification: the 15 million is worldwide.
yeah,
Yes.
that's what I thought.
That's yeah.
Yeah. I've heard
To be-
people. Oh, you go ahead.
I was gonna say I'd be interested to hear the HBO numbers though, because to me this feels like such a ideal, you rent this on impulse because the cover looks so badass kind of movies.
Mhm.
And a lot of the marketing did play into that. Like the only
absolutely.
marketing I saw for this movie was the poster, and I was like, ooh,
Oh, the posters
that
have all been
looks
wonderful.
so cool. That's like I would love a copy of that to hang in my house. Like that is an awesome looking poster.
This-
And it has that and the movie has that kind, like I was saying, like video nasties. Like this is a thing I would have rented at Blockbuster in my late teens and been like, ooh, look at this thing. Let's watch it
Like-
at midnight.
Or
absolutely,
like
like
had
even
that
the
on like
opening.
TV and like at like 2 in the morning, like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
on
like-
like Spike TV or something. I don't know.
And the thing is
Yeah.
James Wan totally knew that, because like he totally plays into it the second the movie starts with the opening production logos. It's like a VHS tape. Just
Mhm,
it's
mhm.
just like you know what kind of movie this is.
I
Right.
hope
And
I hope he puts this on VHS just for that, like just to play
the
further
nostalgia.
into that aesthetic.
Yeah.
mhm. And I also I know horror movies are commonly communal experiences in the theater, but to me, kind of the way that they've marketed this, the vibe of this, everything, I don't know that a low theater take is necessarily the end of the world for a movie like this. I can see this movie lasting for decades, just being played on like
Mhm.
HBO in the middle of the night or on a Spike. Does Spike TV still do horror movie marathons during Halloween like they used
I
to when I
think
was a kid?
so.
But like one of those types of things,
My point was more so that I think the lower box office result actually does kind of fit the vibe of the movie, in that it's really already kind of becoming its like a cult classic, like just the week it comes out. And
Mhm.
I don't think I would have it any other way. I think it fits its legacy very well, and I think I'm like kind of pleasantly like I'm pleased with how it's kind of turning out into its own weird fan base, and I really love it when something like that happens.
It might be this generation's Evil Dead. Who knows?
I've already been seeing comparisons
if-
to Cabin in the Woods for
Oh,
that similar
God.
cult status.
You mentioned Evil Dead, and that made me think Army of Darkness, and then that made me think, oh my God, what if James Wan actually took Malignant and did an Army of Darkness style sequel to it?
Oh my God.
That would be great.
I'm also kind of picturing like it being more like kind of Venom in a way, just Annabelle Wallace arguing with Gabriel.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Like having multiple scenes take place in like the mind prison.
I mean, that's a very beautiful set. I would love to see more of that, and probably expanded too.
Same.
This is also the kind of thing where it's like, this is gonna sound so stupid. I don't usually watch horror movies, but I love going through Halloween mazes. I don't know. There's no logic there. I don't know why I'm like that. But this would make one hell of a like Horror Nights maze. Like that's the kind of thing that excites me about this, is that it's so wild and so wacky that I can see them doing a lot of creative things with the IP in the future.
Just have the horror maze be the children's hospital.
I was gonna say that would be a perfect location.
Even have it on the edge of a cliff.
The scary part is parking your car.
Oh God.
So it sounds like we're kind of winding down. Anyone have any final thoughts? Matt, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I had kind of lukewarm expectations going into it just because the lack of kind of marketing push, and I was really won over by it. I think it was, gleefully kind of campy. It never got too self-aware for its own good. Everything was played kind of with the right level of kind of cheekiness, and I just think visually it was very dynamic and exciting. So I think it's definitely up there with Old for me for my favorite horror movie of the year.
I still have yet to see Old, so
it's definitely a love it or hate it movie for sure.
And I have a feeling you're gonna really love Old.
Yeah, I mean, given that I even give The Happening a lot of benefit of the doubt, I'm sure I'll enjoy Old.
Well, Gwen, I'll go to you next. Your final thoughts on Malignant?
I mean, I think anyone who follows me on Twitter knows what my feelings on the movie are. I basically talked about it nonstop for 2 straight days, but somehow without spoiling the movie. Maybe some people on Twitter should take a few notes whenever it comes to Marvel movies. But anyway, so getting that out of my head, it's really, really good. I said, like, I feel it really is James Wan honing in every stylistic sensibility that he has really perfected over the years. He's even subverted it many times in this movie. Specifically, like whenever, like how he builds anticipation for his jump scares in movies, and he very rarely does the jump scare in this movie while still building that anticipation, and just totally threw me off. I was like, oh, there's gonna be a jump scare. Wait, what? There's not. Okay. But like it's a very good movie, and James Wan is very playful with his audiences that really understand the types of movies he makes, and is really wanting to subvert their expectations with this one. It's like Matt said, it's very self-aware, but not too self-aware to the point to where it's cringy. It's very earnest as well. Like with the relationships with the characters and stuff, it takes itself seriously while still having fun. And it's something I wish more horror movies would do, because I feel too many horror films try too hard to be just bleak and depressing and serious. I'm looking at you, Ari Aster. But seriously, I just want more fun and absolutely batshit insane horror movies like this. That's all I have to say, really.
Nice. Jacob, I'll go to you next.
Malignant, if you're not familiar with the impact James Wan has had on the horror industry, and you stumble across this movie, I think you'll especially be amazed by just how batshit it can be. It's a horror movie event. It truly is. It's something that you're not going to forget for a while. Definitely go see it if you want to see a swing for the fences type of Hollywood horror movie. So that type of movie that we haven't seen in a while.
Nice.
Yeah, very much.
Haylee?
Yeah, so I'm not a horror movie person, and I thought this was a lot of fun. This is a good horror movie for people who don't like horror movies. And I think because it's over the top, it's wild, it's fun to watch, it's filmed beautifully. It makes me sad that these kind of genre movies generally don't get like Academy Award attention unless they've got an A24 slapped on their front, because I feel like this has amazing cinematography. We haven't talked about the sound design and the sound editing, but it's the best sound I've heard in a movie in a long time. It's
absolutely
really well
yeah.
choreographed, just stunt work. All of the stuff in this movie is impeccably done. And it's also, like we keep saying, it doesn't take itself too seriously, but there's a real sense of fun and freewheeling abandon in this whole movie that makes it really compelling to watch. It's almost 2 hours and you don't feel the 2 hours. It's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, absolutely. By the time it finished, I was like, really? It's over?
I felt like it needed another scene to clarify whether or not she was going to jail. I will say that. Yeah, this is one of those few horror movies I'm sitting, the more I reflect on it and go, yeah, I'd probably unambiguously recommend this to just about everyone because it's a fun time. It's just a really fun, good, cracking little action horror movie. It's the perfect midnight movie. It's great.
Well said. Hayden?
Yeah, so if you weren't persuaded by the trailers, then I would definitely say watch it and make your own decision. Know what you are getting into. Know that you are going to watch something that's just a lot of fun. And another comparison I want to bring up is like it has a lot of like kind of these weird John Waters elements that I really enjoyed. It just in terms of kind of this campy abandon. Just know what you're gonna get because a lot of people are seeming to not get it because I'm assuming they lack basic film literacy. But yeah, I highly recommend it. I think it's delightful. I'm going to watch it for every Halloween, whatever. I'm just in love with it. Go see it.
I think I'll do the same, and I don't think my girlfriend's going to be very happy with me about it because this film very much disturbed her.
Yeah, I think I agree with all you. This is the kind of movie that I didn't know I needed, but it's the kind of movie that in my head I've wanted to see for a while, but James Wan seems to be the only director who, after scoring $2 billion hits for 2 separate franchises, has like built up enough clout to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and make this. And you know, it's just one of those things you have to experience for yourself. I could see this like this movie being passed on as a cult classic for years, and yeah, I'll probably make this part of my my Halloween rotation as well. So if you haven't seen this yet, either go see it in theaters if you feel comfortable, or you can watch it at home on HBO Max. But please see this as soon as you can, because it might be something that you end up loving. So before we get out of here, Matt, where can everyone find you online?
You can check out my reviews at brwc.com. You can also just search my name on Rotten Tomatoes. Right now I'm covering the Toronto Film Festival, so just doing some digital reviews for that, among other things.
Awesome. Gwen, where can everyone find you?
Everyone can find me at Twitter, on Twitter at Gwen Loves Movies. I do have a YouTube channel as well, Gwendolyn Jae Stone. I don't continuously upload because I am busy with a ton of different things at once, but occasionally I will put something on there. So yeah, that's all I got.
And Haylee, where can people not find you?
I'm actually the parasitic twin of some rando named Amy. No, I'm kidding. I'm not anywhere. I'm in the Facebook group. Annoy me underneath whenever this is posted. But yeah, I'm just here for fun.
And Hayden, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitter at the Hayden Wilder. I mostly post about musicals, and so you can expect a lot of that.
And Jacob,
review of Dear David Hansen coming to Twitter soon.
You can find me on Facebook and Twitter, Joe Crable, Krehbiel. I'm also part of the Renegade Pop Culture Facebook group, and I have my own Letterboxd account, Streamin Demon.
and you guys can find me on Twitter at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can find me in all the various Facebook groups just at my name. You can check out Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. You can also find us on Podchaser, listen to all of our podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need to escape? So do we. That'll do it for this episode of Renegade Marquee. Thank you guys for joining, and we will catch you guys later. Peace out.
Bye.
Hey.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.